This is a participatory conference where we want to get information from you gentlemen on what you think can be done to help fathers be more involved, responsible, and committed in the lives of their children.
This was the first Milwaukee Fatherhood Summit held in October of 2006, the result of a year's planning.
When I think back to when we started back in 2005 and we connected with the National Fatherhood Initiative to sort of use their model of the community mobilization. It's called the community mobilization model, where you actually try to reach out to what they call non-traditional sectors of society and say, look, this issue of father absence, it actually impacts every sector of society. A large percentage of the men that are incarcerated come from single female-headed households. And so when we initially put the call out, it was like, okay, come to the table, all of you non-traditional sectors, the business community, healthcare, law, education. And when the mayor initially put the call out, all of those people came.
So did the fathers. Initially, they hoped to host 300 dads. Over 1,200 showed up. Many who came did not represent the traditional nuclear family.
You know, this group is a group that I've studied for the last 10 years or more, particularly in the city of Milwaukee. And they have some significant challenges that other groups of men I've studied don't have. One is that there's a very high unemployment rate in the city of Milwaukee. For the communities they live in, there's an unemployment rate of about 75% on the high end. Even though our national unemployment rate in this country is 6.1, it affects men, particularly men of color, in a very different way. And I'm talking more importantly about black men in this particular instance today. The other challenges they face is with the lack of employment and the having children. There's the issue of child support, which is a challenge they face that's significant, and not understanding the child support system. There's also the challenge of transportation. If they're trying to get a job that's outside the community they live in, they can be facing some other issues such as being stopped while they're driving. They could also not know that the transportation system is like a 2-hour, sometimes 3-hour way to get to work. So there's this issue of access, there's the issue of employment, and the issue of not understanding public policies that affect them in ways that may not affect other people.
Each year, the summit has a health fair as well as a job fair and sessions for fathers to get information on ways to better handle child support and on driver's license recovery. Sometimes famous dads and sons were invited to share their experiences.
We were a bad group of guys. I fighting, arguing, rob people and everything. But there was a little pride that goes along with it. And occasionally, as we'd be walking, my gangster buddies and I, we see this guy lying in the ditch, drunk, in the mud. And the guy said, man, look at that bum down there. And I said, yeah, sure is. Then I'd get away from my buddies, get closer to home, or get to where I was going. Then I'd go back and rush and get that bum out of the ditch because that was my dad. And I had to rush him and take him home quick. Get him home quick before people realize that's George's dad, huh?
There's a lot of talk about the crises in black men, crises in black fatherhood. What I wanted to do with this book is take it back, because when I was coming up, there was similar talk about a crisis. This book takes place in the 1980s and in the early 1990s, in the era of crack. Hip-hop is first dawning and everything. And all the talk at that point was about how black males were an endangered species and what we were going to do about fathers and all of that sort of stuff. And I was lucky enough to have a father. It occurred to me, just as I was listening to so many powerful speakers before, my dad was the most courageous man I ever knew. And that's just straight talk. That was point blank. And much of my childhood was about how I was going to live up to my dad, how I was going to, be who he was.
And we're joined now by Daryl Davidson, the City of Milwaukee's Fatherhood Coalition Director. Mr. Daryl, thank you so much for being here on Black Nouveau.
Thank you also.
All right, I saw you nodding your head when we were looking at the story. So talk about your involvement with the coalition and how long you've been at the head.
So it brought back some great memories. I've been in this position for 3 years, and it's been wonderful doing everything that we've done with the Fatherhood Summit and the Fatherhood Coalition. But many years ago, I started off as a person with a vending table at the very first Fatherhood Summit. And everything that I brought to that table was gone in a very short period of time. There were so many people there. After that, the second year, I became a member of the planning committee, and from that point forward, I participated in various capacities. I spoke, hosted workshops, was one of the people who did security, did delivery of food, so many different things, and met so many people. It was a wonderful experience.
So talk about the summit this year. What can we expect? When will it be, and the impact you expect it to have on the community?
We anticipate it being in October. We're still in the planning stages right now, so we expect a really good event, which is going to have multiple agencies that are our community partners as well as our professional referral networks. We also are looking forward to many of the people who were a part of the Fatherhood Summits and the participants. They are going to be back because it's a very special time, and in some people's cases, it's a family affair. We've had people bring their sons, so we've had the experience of working with fathers who became grandfathers through this event, and that's wonderful. I believe the other thing that's going to be good is knowing that many of our partners, such as Milwaukee County and our WCS partners, Wisconsin Community Services, our other partners with the Wisconsin Justice and the Parenting Network, Aurora Family Services, and others, we expect them to have the same type of impact that they've done in the past before. So job services, addressing family needs, dealing with child development issues, as well as teaching fathers how to be better parents.
Talk about the amount of fathers that you serve through the summit, but also through the coalition.
So multiple years we've been seeing over 1,000 men per summit, and through the years we have activities during the other parts of the year. I take a look at what's been going on, and I know we've definitely served over 15,000 individual fathers, and that's very impressive.
Yes.
And in the process of doing that, I know that that has a larger impact on the number of children that are being served too, because for every father who's there, there's a child who's being represented. And so we're looking at increasing their income capacity and their trajectory with their job and their careers, as well as what type of educational goals they might have believed that they couldn't attain, but we were able to work with other people and get them to reach their goals.
I know you talked about some of the partners that the summit has, but talk about who makes up the coalition, who all helps in this effort.
So if we take a look at the multiple agencies such as Fathers Making Progress, we have the Parenting Network, the many different organizations, My Father's House, any organization that is teaching parenting classes, that is Black Child Development Network, organizations that might be a part of government agencies, quasi-government agencies. So Wisconsin Community Services has been one of our partners in the past, Social Development Commission. We also have Marquette University and their School of Law. We have the Workforce Development partners, so multiple. I know that I'm going to end up missing so many because if you take a look at some of our past brochures as well as our program books, it comes off as if there's 1,000 people who make this thing come together.
So while we have about a minute left, talk about the importance of the coalition and the summit. Just whatever you want to share about why it's important to the city and to the fathers throughout.
Well, when we have strong fathers, that is a component with problem solving and addressing issues that ultimately make strong families. And when we have stronger families, we get stronger communities. And what we're looking for are raising the standards of the children so that we can have them be a part of making this a stronger Milwaukee. Many of our results that have come back from the research have demonstrated that the Fatherhood Summit works, and we know that we're getting calls from many people across the country who want to duplicate that. That includes what we're doing with Milwaukee Recreation, Daddy-Daughter Dance, and the influence that we have on not only fathers and sons, but fathers and daughters.
Earl Davidson, thank you so much for joining us here on Black Nouveau.